Oh, yeah, buddy. It's been so long. 30 years, man. Yeah. You look great. You look great for an old guy.
Excuse me.
So you was 1990, right before you got pinched. Before you got pinched in December, right? December before Christmas, and that's when I saw you right around that time. And then you got pinched, and I went away in 91, and I haven't seen you since then, 1990. Oh my God.
You came down with your father?
That was way before that. The first time I actually met you was when I was a kid. My father had the tapers union, and we came to your construction at an office in Brooklyn. I did. You had a
Still living?
Right, still living. And you took me there, talked about what you was talking about. That's the first time I actually met you. But the last time I saw you was 1990.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, I've been watching your videos. I watch all your videos, and I call, and every time I see a video, you mention people's names that I know, and I call my friend up Kachi. I go, man, Sammy's talking about Joe the Cat. Sammy's talking about this guy. I gotta get together with. I did so much stuff with these guys, especially when you talked about Joe the Cat. Like I was telling you.
Yeah.
I worked for him.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we're going to talk about these rats, man. What's going on? I wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I hope you guys are having a great night. Things are really good over here. I appreciate everyone. We got a funny show for you guys tonight. These rats are getting out of control. They think they have a license to just say whatever they want. Well, guess what? I have a license to say whatever I want. So fuck you. And these guys are not ever going to be on a level that they think they are on. The only level they're going to be on is this level.
I'm gonna fix it. I did this to the door. I'm gonna fix it. I pushed the door in. 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 I did this to the door. Yes, I pushed the door in.
And his card is on file here.
Yours. But I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it.
I hate to interrupt the program, but we have a guest. What's up, Worry?
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm doing great. We got 20 people watching right now, and the numbers are just rising. 22.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on, everyone? Latin Butterfly, how are you? Dave, what's going on? Rah, the Bronx, Montauk. Pasquale, what's up, man? Laura, Ann, thank you for the donation, Laura. I appreciate you. So what's up with you, Lauri? Happy Merry Christmas.
Yeah, happy Merry Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Merry Christmas
I just
Eve.
posted, this is my 79th Christmas Eve.
Damn.
And I keep thinking of what were the best ones, and they were when I was a child. My aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, my mother, father, my brothers and sisters, and my grandmother and mother made all the fishes. It was so I could remember us all in the kitchen. And here it is 79 years later, and I'm the only one left.
Yeah, do I want to be like that? In 79 years? Nah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But you have a lot of friends, right?
Yeah, I got friends. Next year I'm going to be in Nashville. I made a promise to my dearest friend that I will spend it with his family in Nashville next year. Well, I'm glad we got a lot of guys here. And, for a lot of you who do not know me, all right, let me just refresh your memory. My name's Ori Spadel. I'm the author of the book, The Accidental Gangster. You don't see me talking bad about people. I got a lot that I could say. I listen to all these other channels on YouTube, and everybody trying to get followers, everybody trying. I understand the game of it. It's social media, and who gets the most followers. I'm not into that game. I
I'm
do
not
have a
either.
you.
I mean, people. Of
Yeah,
course, you want
I'm not
followers.
saying
Yeah,
you. Look, I'm not
no,
saying you.
I'm just throwing in my two
Yeah,
cents.
but you know, I hear people talk about Sonny Franzese. I was friends with Sonny for 50 fucking years. Yes, 50 years. I was talking to him an average of 3 to 4 times a week while he was in a nursing home. He wanted me to visit him. He told me, buddy, you know how to sneak in. I said, buddy, I'm not going to sneak in. I'm not going to be the person responsible for you being violated. I called his probation officer and asked for permission. She happened to be a really nice lady.
What they say when you call them, though.
Well, she said she had to bring it up with her supervisor. I said, look at, I says, he's 103. I was 70 something at the time. Well, it was 3 years ago. I said, we're not going to go out and rob a fucking bank. I just want to take my friend to lunch or dinner. There's nothing
Yeah.
more, I says. I said, we're old men. She
When
called
did
me the next day and she spoke to her supervisor. And her supervisor said that Mr. Spadel has been friends with Sonny for 50 years. They were on the same indictment. So the answer is no. Mr. Spadel has to wait until he's off. Now, Sonny was getting off probation, I believe, in June. He had another 6 months to go before he died. Now, I do know the reason why he wanted to see me. Because there's something that all these, mob historians, I listen to these guys and they talk, all they do, mob historians, they go into court records, they go into newspapers, and now they become a mob historian and they know everything.
Yeah.
Folks, I don't do that. I was in the room. I was in prison with everybody. I know exactly what happened after that trial of Sonny Franzese. And yes, his son destroyed him, but who really destroyed him more was the other informant, Gaetano Furtado. Gaetano Furtado. Guy Furtado. Like a lot of these tough guys, he was an informant. And he's the one who did the damage. Sonny was
His
proposing
son
him.
just put the nail in the coffin, right?
Yeah. But with Guy Furtado, they had Sonny on tape telling who everybody was and all the families, talking about things that he should not have been talking about.
What was he talking about?
Everything you could imagine. And
Like
it was
murders
all
and
part
shit.
of our discovery. Now decisions were made. You gotta understand who I was in the same unit with in Brooklyn, MDC. Decisions were made. I'm not going to tell you what those decisions were.
I can guess what they are.
They're not coming from Ori Spadel, folks. But one thing about Sonny, Sonny was a stand-up guy and never did talk about anybody. Never would give up anybody at all. But there's a lot more to Sonny Franzese than everybody really knows about or really could even imagine. And I'm not going to disclose it. I don't go around. First of all, I'm not going to batter somebody who's dead. Now, I did do a video that's going to be posted on my stories with Ori. And here again, I don't tell you names. I don't do that shit. Okay? I got respect for the living and the dead.
Yeah, you don't care
All
if
right.
they're dead. You're not gonna start talking all kinds of crazy shit,
No.
especially if he was really your friend. A lot of people don't understand loyalty is a big thing, and if you don't have loyalty, regardless whether the people are dead or it means a lot. And if you don't
No.
have loyalty, you don't have shit.
I'm sure some of you have purchased the book by the author, Sandra Petty. She calls herself an investigative reporter. I don't really see anything else that she has ever done. But I'm going to give you a name of a real investigative reporter. Check him out. He's now deceased. His name is John Connolly from New York. John did a lot of stories in major magazines. He's also the one who wrote the book Filthy Rich about Epstein. Okay? Now, I introduced John to Sonny many, many years ago. We had several dinners. Upon my release from prison, John called me and said Sonny was calling him and wants to talk to him. And John went and talked to him. He said, well, he wants me to write the book. But I'm not going to write the book, Ori, because Sonny is not going to tell me the truth. John was well aware and knew that Sonny Franzese would never tell any investigative reporter the truth.
Here, I got a picture. So she thinks just because she went there and saw him in the old folk song, look how old he is, that she has this like connection with him.
Yeah.
She's riding that all the way to the bank.
Yeah, well, she did. Ended up writing a book. She's an investigative reporter. She works for Newsday. Well, check at the back of the book. It has no table of contents, no index. That's the first sign. I get a book that's got no index, I throw it in the garbage. No index in there. Now you think for once, Sonny and I talked every time she left. Sonny was on the phone with me. You can believe me or not believe me. I really don't give a fuck. Okay? Do you see? I live here. I live very comfortably here in Beverly Hills, California.
Is it raining there?
It stopped raining, but it's overcast. So
Do you live on the second floor, Ori?
Third.
Because it's gonna be fucking like Noah's Ark coming through there. You have to jump on the boat.
We had it. We had a lot of rain the last few days. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you folks. And but a lot of decisions were made, and they were made in prison.
How do you feel about Michael now, Ori?
Look at me. I allow anybody, if you watched early on when I first began, you saw me on my Vlad interview, you saw Michael. Michael and I now, we text each other, we talk, okay? I know the truth. I know the truth. I knew the truth for a long freaking time. Joey Merlino brought some of it out. And I say some of it. There's more.
I'm
But
sure
at
there is.
the end of the day, Michael has turned his life around. At the end of the day, Michael's a very, very intelligent guy. So don't ever take Michael for an idiot. Never do that. Because you'll
No,
be making a
he's
big
he's a
mistake.
lot smarter than a lot of these other guys.
Oh
You
yeah.
got that right. I can
And
tell.
what people got to realize, Michael was the first one to venture in to this social media world.
Now
He's
it's
the first
Culata.
one.
It was Frank Culata was. He's the first one to come on YouTube to have a podcast to talk
You
about
think
gangster
so?
shit. 100%. Frank Culata
Yeah.
was the first one to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew Frank too. I didn't know Frank well, but we spoke.
I spoke to Frank too, and he was supposed to come on my show, and then he passed away, man. I was like,
Yeah,
damn, man.
yeah, yeah. I was on his show after he passed away.
Yeah, with Flowers, right? Adam
Yeah,
Flowers. Yeah.
yeah. I remember, the guy who wrote all Frank's books. I went to school with the kid, Dennis Griffin. He was the editor on my first book.
Yeah, Dennis Griffin is a great
Yeah,
author. He passed away too
he
last year,
passed
right?
away. Yeah,
It's like
yeah, it was terrible.
droves of famous people with a lot of history have been passing away. A lot of people, man.
Yeah.
This
Well,
last
that's the
year
way
and
it
the year
goes. We
before.
live and we die. Okay, that's the only guarantees there are.
Yeah, but
You
it's
know.
like a lot recently. They say that it's like 50,000 more people um in the first couple months of the year last year have passed away, and they don't know the cause. Like, what's the reason of the influx of people dying? And they don't know.
Well, Dennis was cancer. Dennis got cancer. He died quickly. I was
He
in
was a
touch with
great
his.
author. I remember reading
Dennis
his
was
books
a
when I was in
good
prison.
author. You did a really good job. I'll never forget when they were on David Betta. I don't know why, but David Betta only basically has rats on his show. Anybody ever observed that?
I don't even know who that is.
David Betta. David Betta. Yeah, he's got a big podcast. Yeah.
I've never heard of him.
Yeah, Dennis and Frank called me up. They were excited. Oh, but they had like 10 million views or something like that, some crazy number. And they thought they would sell a lot of books. You know how many books they sold?
Too.
34.
Oh,
34 books. Yeah.
your book's
Because
selling pretty good though, right?
my book's still selling every month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have a good
it will
following.
skyrocket after my movie is made.
Hell yeah,
Okay,
bro.
which this year that's definitely going to be done. So,
I'll be out there in Hollywood to take part in that.
all right. Does anybody have any questions for me? See,
I
I
got a
must be the
question for
most
you.
boring person out there because I don't say nothing bad about people.
Nah, it's not about saying stuff bad about people. It's about calling out their hypocrisy and their bullshit, and
Yeah.
that's what I do. I just call out their bullshit. It's pretty easy. It's not hard.
Well, it is. It is. I mean, look, I could turn this around. Turn this around. I guarantee you, if I really got out there and started talking, I'd have a lot of people on my side. I have a lot of enemies too who come about. I don't give a fuck, but that's not me. I'm trying to add a positive thing. If you look at my stories with Ori, it's a different type of talk show, and it's I have good people on that are doing things to make the world a better place. And I live the gangster life, folks. I lived it. I know what it is. That was the past. I'm living still at my age of 79. I'm living for the future. I'm trying to do my part to make up for the bad that I did, to make this world a better place.
Did Sonny ever talk about taking over the family?
No, no. So that never happened. It did happen out here. See, for those of you who don't know, Jimmy Kachi. Jimmy Kachi was the boss of Los Angeles, the underboss.
He turned into a
Okay?
rat, right?
No, fucking Jimmy. Jimmy, ounce for ounce, was more of a man than anybody you could think of, including Sonny. Ounce for ounce. Jimmy, like Sonny, Sonny didn't do 50 years. He was sentenced to 50 years.
Yeah, everyone
Sonny,
says he did 50
yeah,
years.
he did 30 odd years total. I have all his prison records right here. Okay? I wish I would have kept all the letters of every prison his Sonny was in that he was writing me. Actually, I'm going to ask my son. Maybe my son knows where they are.
Yeah,
Okay?
I got some pictures of you and Jimmy Kachi. So can you tell us about Jimmy Kachi?
Jimmy Kachi was the real deal. And he's a guy who really seriously did work. He's born in Buffalo, New York. No, that's Joey Pyle in London. There's Jimmy Kachi. Jimmy Kachi with Joe Tadaro, who was another friend. They grew up together. Joe Tadaro was the boss of Buffalo.
Shout out to Joe Tadaro Jr. He's still around. Joe Tadaro Jr. with the pizzeria.
Oh, they got a great pizzeria, great pizza. Like Jimmy was a dapper man, always dressed. He used to be at my door on Monday morning. Tomorrow be Monday. He'd be at my door here, 7 a.m. in the morning. He'd be here, and he would
And
stay with me. He would stay with me during the week, and then on Fridays go back to Palm Springs.
you
Jimmy
just
was
put one
a
out, Ori. You just put one out, bro.
what? Man, it's not lit. People break my balls all the time.
Yeah, remember the story you told me? If I quit, I'll die, my doctor says.
Yeah, and that
You got
happened to be to the mayor of Beverly Hills.
yeah, tell him that story. The story about the mayor.
True story. I had some guys in the marijuana business from up north looking for several millions of dollars, and it was a really good deal. And I brought my investor guy in for a meeting at the Mayborn Hotel here in Beverly Hills. We had a meeting, and my guy said, "I'll put up $10 million," because they said they had somebody else involved. If the other guy was involved, my guy would have put 10 million, just like that. But we left, and my friend Eric, he was a taller guy, bigger guy than me. And there's a park in there when you walk out of the Mayborn. And there's you pillars. And I light up a cigarette. And this little fucking guy comes up to me, pointing his finger. No smoking in Beverly Hills, and that's the law. He's pointing his fucking finger at me. I cocked my head. I look at him. I said, "Get this, motherfucker. My name is Ori Spadel. Go to City Hall. You will find out that I got special permission to smoke because my doctor said if I quit, I will die." The guy got flustered. He walked behind his pillar. My friend Eric shakes his head and says, "Only Ori would do that." I start walking on towards Cannon Drive. When a cop comes up behind me, he was very nice. He says, "Sir, could I have a word with you?" I turned around. I said, "Well, you asked me nice, officer. Yes, what's the problem?" He said, "Look at it." He says, "They passed this law here in Beverly Hills. There's no smoking. Would you kindly put it out?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You asking me nice." I said, I said, "Boy," I said, "the fucking laws, they're passing are crazy." He says, "I agree with you." I said, I gotta get the hell out of the state. He said, I'm right behind you. And then I asked him, I said, by the way, officer, who was that little prick that had the balls to come up to me and point his finger at me like that? He says, sir, that was the mayor. True story.
Did you ever see him after that? What did he say after you seen him?
I think if he sees me, he'd cross the street.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So someone asked, are you considered part of any crime family, or were you just a freelance associate?
Well, good question. Honest to God, because of the fact that I was friends with Sonny for 50 years, I never considered myself part of the Colombo family. But you must remember, I spent an awful lot of time with Sonny. I spent 1 week a month on average in New York. And every time I go to New York, Sonny stayed with me in my suite at the whole Warwick Hotel. And we were together morning, noon, and night. In the morning, in the hotel, I'm always up early. I always had a suite. Sonny's in the other room. I got the coffee all ready. Sonny wakes up, gets his coffee. Do you think that we would talk there? And they go, buddy, come on, we got to talk. You know where we went? We went into the hallway, and we went into the maid's room where they kept all the cleaning stuff. And that's where Sonny and I had a lot of talks there. And then the day would begin, and we'd be in 20 restaurants in a freaking day. And I'll tell you, Sonny could eat at every one of them. All right, different meetings, meeting people. I met hundreds and hundreds of people. And you got to remember something. I was driving Sonny. If Sonny had a private meeting, it was only private until he got into the car and didn't tell me about it. I never talk about that shit. But out here, I'm with Jimmy Kachi. Now, Jimmy Kachi and I, we chopped up a lot of money. Awful lot of money. Jimmy Kachi was a lot different. He wasn't. Jimmy Kachi would pay for a dinner. Sonny Franzese, he whispered in my ear one time. True story. In Chinatown. You put your hands in your pockets for this bill, I'll kill you. He said, we don't pay.
Oh, he would get meals for free everywhere he went, right? People would give him meals.
Yeah. And he'd never go in his pocket. And if you were with him and you put your hand in your pocket, fucker would kill you.
I've been with people fighting over the check. I've been with people and I'm fighting with them over the check.
Yeah. Jimmy put his hands in his pocket. He paid a bill everywhere. But, you know, it was really funny because Jimmy, and I came this close to taking my button here on a Sunday. Jimmy came in. The guys from Las Vegas came in. Everybody was at my place in Beverly Hills. And we were ready to go. And I said, Jimmy, I don't know if I really want to do this. You know, and then something came up, an emergency came up with some bikers and, that we had to take care of. And that put it off, and thank God it did. But I'll tell you, I'd be out here, I'm with Jimmy Kachi, all right, and you go, fuck Sonny Franzese, you're fucking with me. You live in California, you're with me. And then I'd be in New York, and Sonny saying he wants to propose me. And I'm going, Sonny, you know, I got Jimmy, you're fucking with me, fuck Jimmy Kachi.
Yeah, would they argue? Would they argue when they see each other?
Oh my God. You know, finally it came time that I had that son, Jimmy knew, he knew the chin. Jimmy knew a lot of guys, but he didn't know Sonny. I made that introduction, and it was at Feinstein's on Park Avenue when Keely Smith was performing. And that's when I made the connection to Jimmy, and I introduced the two of them. And
And then they cut you in half, right? And
yeah,
then
they
they
cut me
made
in
half
half.
of you. They made half of you in
Yeah,
LA and half of you in New York.
yeah. But it was funny. I mean, one time Jimmy was fucking pounding the thing in my car. I'm driving. You're fucking with me. You're not fucking with that fucking Sonny Franzese. I
So
just laughed.
how did you first meet Jimmy Kachi?
Oh, that's another story. I needed some work done down in the desert. I just needed a guy's legs busted up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing real serious. But my friend from Buffalo, a friend of mine from Buffalo, made the introduction to Jimmy. And that's how Jimmy and we became, we were like brothers. We were so close.
What year? What
Yeah.
year did you meet him?
That had to be somewhere in the late 80s. Maybe early, maybe 85. Yeah, somewhere around there.
What about Sonny? What year did you meet Sonny? First meet him? How did you even come across Sonny to meet him?
Well, that story is in my book. All right. I was a distributor of polyglycol, which was owned by Walter Fison. It's all of the stories in my book. This is how I met Sonny. And because there were death threats. And the death threats were coming from Michael. And I was in New York. We were at Club 21. I used to tell my friend Walter, nobody's going to call you up and threaten your life. They're
No.
just going to kill you.
Yeah. They're just going to do it. They're not going to say it
Yeah.
on the internet. They're not going to run their mouth. I mean, there are some stupid people out there. We all know that.
Yeah, well, let me tell you. So, this was the days, no cell phones. So we were having lunch with Victor Potopkin, the owner of Potopkin Cadillac. Walter went to the payphone, came back white as a ghost, leaned over and says, "Kid, I know you're wired in. You got to stay over and find out where this is coming from." So I made a couple calls, and Frank Russo and Lou Perry, and it was Lou Perry who set it up, called me up, and he says, "I'm picking you up at 7 o'clock." And he was in my hotel, and he brought me to a restaurant, Trattoria Siciliana on 2nd Avenue. And this is when I met Sonny Franzese for the very first time. Sonny didn't know me. I didn't know him. And at this table, the restaurant was owned by his son-in-law, Eugene, who was a great guy. And was his wife, Tina, Johnny, Gia, and little Tina. And they were all young kids. I sat next to Sonny, and he and I whispered to each other in each other's ear. He says he'll find out where it's coming from. Get back to me. He had my office number in upstate New York, and he had my phone number in Florida, where I was living at the time. And I ordered some fish. And I'm allergic to fish, some fishes.
Yeah.
The waters they come from. And I got violently ill. I was fucking vomiting. I had diarrhea. And he had his two drivers, who were Johnny Irish and Red Krabby, bring me to the hospital. And that's another comedy. What happened there?
Yeah, and then so people started to say that they gave you the fish on purpose to kill you,
They
right?
said, yeah, that's what this girl wrote in her book. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
No.
what that woman wrote.
Yeah. To think of how stupid you know what I mean? Sonny's killed a lot of people. I never heard of anyone by poisoning. Why would he? So now what happened was I was going to move back from Florida to New York. And I was with my gal that became my second wife. I took 2 weeks to drive from Florida to New York. When I got back, a fucking meeting was set up. And they said, I got to get in New York. And Frank Russo and I drove in. And we met at the Russian tea room. And we met with Sonny Franzese.
So this was after you got sick with the fish. Right?
After I got sick, yeah, I got better. Went back to Florida. And Sonny found out where it was coming from. And it was coming. It was coming. It was coming from Michael.
His son?
Yeah. They were coming from Michael. So we had a meeting. Now, if you want to know exactly what happened, it's in my book. We were right there in the Russian tea room, first booth on the left when you walk in. And it was before hours. So we were the only ones in that restaurant. It was me, Sonny sitting directly across from me, Walter on my right, Michael on his side. And we had a great outcome. And
so what was he threatening you for? And what was he saying? What was he saying?
We had this company, Polyglycol, no need to shine your car again, guaranteed for 3 years. We were really big. We were on TV all the time.
I think I remember the product.
Every automobile dealer was selling it. It was really good company. And Walter made his brother-in-law a distributor out of Nassau or Suffolk in Suffolk County. Gave his brother-in-law Suffolk County. His brother-in-law also happens to be the brother-in-law to Michael Franzese. And Michael got involved, and they were selling an inferior product. But they got in the offices of Polyglycol, and they stole the warranties from the bottom. And all of a sudden, Walter's getting claims from fucking warranty numbers that he never issued from people.
Yeah.
And then he was threatened to take away the thing, and he was getting death threats. So we remedied it. And during the sit down, I was looking at Sonny. He was right across from me. And I didn't think he was understanding the story. So I said, Sonny, let me put this in terms that you'll understand. Let's suppose somebody moved into your territory in the Bronx, and boom, the fucking coldest ice you ever wanted to see went right through me like you can't believe. And he looked at me and he said, don't think for one moment that I don't know what's going on. You're young. Keep your mouth shut. Never talk at a meeting like this. And I kept my fucking mouth shut. We came out on top. Okay? We came out on top because we were right. And when we left the Russian tea room, we're all standing in front. Sonny grabs me by the arm, walks me to the corner of Broadway and 57. He says, kid, I like you. You got a lot of balls. He says, from now on, he says, you're with me. He said, no matter where you go in the country, you got a problem. You mention my name. And he says, kid, I want you and your family in my home for Christmas. And that's how Sonny and I became friends.
What was Christmas like with Sonny?
I never went. I didn't go.
You didn't go. You didn't go. Because then you went home and Jimmy said, "You're with me, kid. We're going to have Christmas together." Fuck Sonny, right?
Yeah, yeah. By that time,
I
I
believe
was
it.
living. Yeah, I was living in California by that time. But no, then I lived in. I moved to uh, uh, Little Neck. I lived between Northern Boulevard and the LIE. And Sonny would meet me every morning. There was when you exited the LIE, there was a little strip mall. There was a little coffee shop. And Sonny and I meet there for breakfast every day. And on Fridays evenings, we, with the rest of the crew, used to meet at Douglaston Manor and have dinner.
Let me ask you this.
And I'm going to tell you something, all right? I'd be with Sonny on a Friday night in Trattoria Siciliana, and he would be dispatching like a fucking cab driver, would dispatch cars out. Sonny was dispatching people to all across the fucking country and other countries to take care of different situations. That's how he was. He was powerful.
Yeah, he was like managing all these people, and they have different rackets going on, right?
Yeah.
And
But look, there a lot of heat came down. You got to realize, okay, you got two sons that go bad, and then Guy Furtado. It's over the top. Something happened. Something had to happen. And we'll let the guy rest in peace.
did Sonny? I don't know if you'll answer this, but did Sonny take care of Guy Furtado?
Guy Furtado was on a WITSEC program.
Oh, is he still around?
From my understanding, not under his name, under a fake name. Never came out of it.
Yeah, when they die, they don't promote that type of shit. They don't tell people.
Right.
So, how does Sonny Franzese, a stand-up guy, raise two rats? What's up with that?
Oh. Well, I'm going to tell you. You know, everybody knows the story with Michael and knows part of the story. I'll tell you the story with Johnny, because Johnny was living out here. And Sonny called me up. Johnny was running a rehab place down off of Washington Boulevard. And he needed a car, and he was going to buy a car. Somebody from the program was going to sell Johnny his car. Sonny called me up and asked me to look at the car and make sure it was okay. I called Johnny, and he said, "Uncle Laurie, I'm going to bring it. I'll be over your house at noon." At noon, Johnny didn't show up. At 2 o'clock, no Johnny. Finally, in the evening, I get a call from him. He says, "I'll be there in the morning. I'm out in Pasadena. I'll bring the car in the morning, Uncle Laurie." Okay. Morning comes, no Johnny. I'm calling, it going right to voicemail. Sonny's calling Johnny, voicemail. Tina, his mother, right to voicemail. Then all of a sudden, voicemail is full. Can't take any messages. So me in my head, I'm thinking Johnny's going to appear, probably went off the fucking wagon, asking for $40 because that's what he always asked for when he needed a fix. Okay.
$40. He needed $40 to go get high, right? What was he? What
Yeah.
kind of drugs was he doing at the time?
Oh, he was putting it in his arm, man.
Heroin?
Oh, he
What was he
was
doing?
putting it in his arm.
He's doing heroin,
I
right?
saw him one time. It was so disgusting. I don't want to tell you. Okay, I got stories. Frankie Camp did it. What I was doing out here, Frankie Camp was doing in New York. All right, when Johnny was back there, taking them out of these fucking houses. Oh, it was. You had no idea. This guy was the worst fucking addict in the world. And so we heard nothing. So then Sonny asked me to come back to New York. I flew back and we all met at my hotel suite at the Warwick Hotel. And you all heard about a certain decision that Sonny had made. That decision came that place. When we left, I'm waiting for my driver to take me to Kennedy and waiting for Sonny's driver to pick Sonny up. And I told Sonny, if you want, I got a good private investigator and I'll have him look for Johnny. He said, nah, don't bother. He said, he'll appear.
You probably
I
had
get
an idea, huh?
let me finish this story. And I get my car comes, takes me to Kennedy. I get my ticket. I walk up to the gate, and I still do it to this day. Before I get on a plane, I go in the closest men's room and have a cigarette. And when I walk out, two young guys approach me. Or Espedo? I go, yeah. First thought is, they must be friends of my son's and saw that I'm on the flight, right?
Yeah.
And then their badges come out, FBI. They said, we need to talk to you. And they took me to the side. They said, you can stop looking for Johnny. He's with us. And I said, well, good. I said, at least we know he's alive. I said, I can call his mom and dad and let them know. And they said, we prefer you don't. I said, they're the parents. They got a right to know. They said, Mr. Spado, we're going to give you one chance. You could come on our side right now. Otherwise, this is going to be the last commercial flight that you will be on for a while. And I said, gentlemen, goodbye. I'm not coming with you. I'm going to go call Tina and Sonny right now. And I went to the phone. I called Tina and Sonny and let them know that their son was on the WITSEC program.
What did they say when you said that?
They were shocked. They thought I would go with them. And they were correct. That was my last commercial flight. My next flight after that was on Con Air.
So they weren't lying to you, right?
They weren't bullshitting. So there's people out there who say I'm a rat. I laugh at them. I was never in special housing. Never. I was always in general population.
Me too.
And in MDC, I was in the same unit with all the bosses. Not just the Colombo family, but other families.
Yeah, they put you in New York, right? In the prison in New York.
Yeah,
Do you remember
yeah.
some of the people that were there?
I remember them all.
Can you name some of them?
One of my dearest friends was Charlie Carneglia. We still are to this day. He writes me every now and then.
Yeah,
You know
someone sent me a recent picture of him. He's still
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
No, he's in Canaan. He's
Is
doing
he?
life. He's doing life.
Yeah, they sent me a picture of him, a
Yeah.
newer picture. He has family members that are involved in the life too, right?
Oh yeah, his brother Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny just got out. Him and Gene Gotti.
Matter of fact, that's the picture that they sent me. A picture of him, Johnny.
Yeah. Johnny Carneglia, yeah. Charles is a great guy, man. Great
Who
guy.
else? What other people were in there with you? Anybody notable?
Everybody notable.
What year?
Well,
What year did he
look
go
at
into
my indictment.
NBC?
Look at my indictment.
I have it right here. I have it right here. It's in the back of the book, right? Wow. One of the terms is life in prison that you were facing, 9 counts of firearm in a crime of violence, maximum imprisonment, life imprisonment, maximum imprisonment 5 years, 5 years, $250,000 fine.
There's 14 names on that indictment.
It was Loretta Lynch. Was that your attorney?
That no, look, you know who she was? She was the
No.
U.S. She was the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District. She became the U.S. attorney, U.S. Attorney General under Obama.
Really?
Yeah, she was in court every fucking time I was there. She was right there.
So it says on April 14th, 2006, according to government witnesses and informants, other fomented violence and conspired to murder defendant Spado. Defendant Spado was not warned by the FBI.
Yeah,
However, the tapes following supports that the government and its prized informants, both known and unknown, I'm not good at reading this fucking court shit. And format of violence, specially planned to murder defendant Spado and extort defendant Spado. 8906, Guy Furtado. I will crack him when he comes in. Referring to Spado. If the drug deal don't happen, then Ori Spado has to go. What drug deal are they talking about, Spado?
50 kilos of cocaine. Sonny sent Guy Furtado out here. I used to take care of some of the Jamaican and Haitian guys out here, and they were big dealers. One of them got arrested, and he had $500,000 on the streets in Brooklyn. His wife came with the 2 Mexicans. And they asked me to get the money back. I knew the guys on the streets who had it. Pick up the phone. They said, all right, they don't understand. They were turning the coke into crack. So it was taking longer to bring the money in. They said, well, we got 100,000 ready right now. Furtado's sitting on my fucking couch. Sonny guaranteed him to me. And he says, I got guy, we'll pick it up right now. And he picked up that first 100 grand, and he sent me half of it. He did. That's all I ever saw. I knew when the rest was being paid. I called him up. I flew into New York. I said, come meet me at the Warwick. And he meets me at the Warwick. I said, I know you got the fucking rest of that fucking money. I want that fucking money. When he leaves, he calls the FBI agent. This was part of my discovery. I heard this tape. I said, this gets me out of the cocaine deal. because the agent, FBI agent, says, take that wire off and call me from the other phone that you got in the trunk of your car.
What?
Yeah. So I knew then that the FBI, they all spent that money. But what Furtado was doing, he told the Mexican they were not going to give us another 50 kilos till they got their money on that, the rest of the money on that. Furtados are making ranges a deal. They're sitting right there in my living room. Dude, he wants 50 kilos every 2 weeks. Everything's got to go through Ori. And then he's going back to New York, and he's telling Michael Carapano, who was the acting captain, about this big cocaine deal with Ori. Of course, there is no cocaine deal happening.
Yeah.
And now he's telling Michael about all the money they're going to make from it. So Michael,
You're basically picking up the money. You're just picking up the money that was owed, right?
yeah, but he was also trying to get these Mexicans to give us 50 kilos. They were not going to give us or anybody any money till they got paid. And now he's telling Mike, he's got Michael Carapano all fucking energized up of all this money coming in, and there's no money. So Michael calls Carapano and says, what's going on with this deal with Spado? And Furtado says Spado must have fucking done the deal and keeping all the money.
Oh.
So Carapano goes to Sonny and gets the okay to whack me. The FBI knew it. They heard it. They never came to me. But on the same tape, you got Sonny Franzese saying how he went down and voted to whack John Jr. And they ran that John Jr. to tell him that there was a death threat. But they didn't come to me. Why?
Isn't it a law for them to come to the people?
It's a law.
An attempt on their life?
Yeah.
Did you ever get to talk to Sonny about the contract on you?
What happened? Sonny got bail. And I was going to use that discovery to help me at trial. And never forget that day. It's the last conversation that Sonny and I had until he got out of prison. But he come in from the streets. We were going for lemonade motions. And he stands behind. We're all sitting down there. And he stands in front of me. Hey, buddy, you're a little upset with me. I said, look, buddy, why would I be upset? Just because you approve for me to be whacked? I said, that don't bother me at all. I said, I'm here, ain't I? I'm a fucking man, Sonny. That don't bother me. I said, but, you called me to come in for fucking bullshit stuff. And I always got on a plane and flew back. But you didn't call me when you got the word on this deal that was never going to happen. If you would have, we wouldn't be sitting here today. And then the judge stopped us from talking. His lawyer tried to get Sonny severed from trial because of the discovery I wanted to use. I'm the one who ended up getting severed.
That's probably a blessing on you,
And
right?
that was a blessing. Otherwise, I'd still be in prison today. Because as you read, I was facing life.
Wow. That's pretty crazy, man.
So I gave you a lot of fucking information here tonight that nobody's heard, my friend.
I appreciate it, man. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas. How many people we got here? Let's see.
We got 57 at the moment.
Beautiful.
Tell people where they can get your book, signed copies of your book. I'm going to put a link in the description and inside the chat.
Yeah. If you want an autographed copy, it's available on my website, theaccidentalgangster.com. Otherwise, you can get the book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other places.
And the link will be in the description of this video.
And on YouTube, it's Stories with Ori. Be sure to go to my YouTube, subscribe. I would appreciate it. And everybody, have a blessed Merry Christmas. Thank you all for joining us. Mr. Staxx, it's a pleasure as usual. Thank you.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you, Ori.
Good night, buddy.
Have a great night.
Good night.
Yeah, man.
How do I shut this?
I got you. I appreciate all you guys for joining us tonight. I got some things to do, so make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you want to donate to the show, you can hit up my Cash App at Chattin with Staxx. I got a lot of good things. I just need funding to do the things that I want to do, and eventually we'll get there. But the toy drive was a major success. I really appreciate everyone that donated, and I'll be dropping some video of that pretty soon. If you guys like this content, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you don't like this video, too fucking bad. Start your own podcast. I appreciate all you guys and have a Merry Christmas. And remember, don't be a bitch.